Hi guys, welcome back to this quick video of me and my GR Yaris. This is kind of like a 4,000 mile update with a couple of the things that I've found annoying, and the reason I went for a standard car over the Tack Pack. As I just mentioned, I've just hit 4,000 miles in this car and I've already taken it in for its first service or midterm service. Personally, I think this is a complete waste of time. However, to not void your warranty with whichever dealership that you've bought your car from, you have to take your car in for a 3,000 mile safety check, as they call it. It's basically this £50 safety check that you have to take your car in to do some just checks on things like your tyre pressures, something that you can easily do yourself, and some other things like, does your horn work? You know, just obvious things that you don't need to take it into a garage for. It's 50 quid. It feels a bit like they're stealing an extra £50 off you for every 3,000 miles, but for the extra satisfaction of just having your warranty, you know, clean and everything, it's probably kind of worth doing. I had to laugh on a couple of the notes. It was like, are the floor mats positioned correctly? Is your horn working? You know, are your tyres still okay? Things that you can literally just look over yourself for for free, and it will take you maybe 10 minutes, but I had to drop off my car for an hour, so that was a real annoyance to me. Another thing that's kind of annoying is because of the acceleration of this car, you need to make sure that you put your phone and things like that into proper cubby holes. I've had about 3 or 4 occasions where my phone has just literally flung out of the central cubby hole and has just landed in the rear seats, and then that's a pain in the arse, especially when you've got it connected into the USB jack for your maps and things like that. That comes to my annoyance number 3, is the maps. Even though you have your car Bluetoothed for music onto your infotainment system, the map doesn't work if it's not connected through the USB. So to have your maps through Google Maps, you have to connect your car through the USB to show, your maps up on the screen. However, when you're using things like Spotify, you can just Bluetooth it over. So it would be a lot nicer if you could just use the Bluetooth for your maps as well as your Bluetooth for your Spotify. Also, and the natural thing to do when you've got your maps on, if you've got your phone connected, is to put your phone just in the top cubby hole. And again, if you put it there and you accelerate hard, your phone's just going to end up in the rear seats. The only other thing that I have as a criticism for the non-Tack Pack version of the car that I specifically chose is, when I ordered it, I didn't know that the brake vents from the front of the car to the front wheels, I didn't realise they were going to be blocked up. So actually the non-Tack version doesn't have the air cooling for the front brake calipers. And it was something I didn't see any mention of between the differences between the two cars. I knew the Tack Pack version had the red calipers and the BBS wheels, but I didn't see anything on the front brake duct vents at all. So that's one thing that I did want off the Tack Pack on the standard car. One thing that I noticed as well was there was no mention of the manufacturer of the standard wheels, and they're actually Enkis, and personally, I think they look like a nicer wheel than the BBS forged wheels that you can have. They are a little bit more of a pain in the arse to clean because they are a 15 spoke. However, I saw them originally at Goodwood, and when I saw the car at Goodwood, I thought the wheels really proportion the car nicely in the first place. So I was a little bit skeptical to go for the BBS wheels, because when I put my order in, there were barely any cars on the road and there was only a couple of pictures with the new BBS wheels. So personally, I like both of them, but I think I prefer the Enkis, to be honest. I also wanted to be able to compare the Dunlops that were on the standard cars with the Michelins. So after I've run these tyres out, I'm just going to go straight for Michelin's, and then I can have a direct comparison between the tyres. And I also use this car pretty much daily already. That's why I'm already up to 4,000 miles since February. And I find the suspension perfect for daily driving. I can imagine a harsher ride would make you a bit more bored and a bit more sick of driving this car every day. So that was the other reason that I went for this version. Apart from that though, everything else is pretty much the same. Down the drag strip, it was no faster than a GR Yaris Tack Pack, so acceleration wise it's exactly the same engine. It has a different LSD, but I guess that you'll only see the difference around the circuit. The last thing I was a little bit disappointed with on this car was the rear plastic where the rear window is. From factory, I didn't think the quality of, I don't know if it's paint or if it's the quality of the plastic itself, but there was already like spiderweb marks on the rear deck of it. So if you want that perfect, you're gonna have to take it to a body shop. I haven't done yet, but it is something that I'm playing and toying with the idea of doing before, before winter or maybe in the new year again. I think the mirrors, they've also got the black plastic as well, and personally I think the quality of those could have been a bit better, even though the paintwork, the white paint, is immaculate. If you're really anal about things like that, I would get that sorted out straight away, straight out of the factory. I think it's just a factory, not an error, but just like a quality control like issue maybe. A couple of things that surprised me was how close the MPG figures are to real life. I've been getting between 33 and 34 MPG most days, driving back and forth to work. Some days where you're hooning it around, obviously, you're just going to use more fuel. But I was surprised of how close it is to the real day figures that you actually can get 34 miles per gallon. Even on some days when you're like stuck behind people in traffic, you can get it up to like 35, 36, but anything more than that is a tall ask. The other thing is, when you put the rear seats down in the boot, it's perfectly sized for 4 extra tyres for like track days, but also I even managed to get a 1.5 metre IKEA piece of furniture in the boot of this car. So again, if you've got no kids, you still want a little bit of boot space, and you've got the ability to put the rear seats down. It's a great car for like hauling stuff around, even though you're not going to do it every day, but the option's there. One point that I wanted to kind of crush, because I don't agree with it, is the seat height. I feel, personally, if I was sitting any lower in this car, I would be more concerned about hitting the corners of it. It's quite a wide car, and you can't see any of the bonnet in front of you. So I think if your seat was too low, you're going to be constantly like looking out, trying to find where the front of the car is. Whereas keeping them quite, not high, but like kind of more like where a rally driver would sit, it allows you to kind of, peer out and see the corners of the car and where your front wheels are going. I think if it was lower, I think driving it would be a bit more tricky, to be honest. The last thing I have a small gripe with is the My Toyota app. This app doesn't seem like it's been designed, or they haven't adjusted it for the GI Yaris. So the first time I logged onto it, it was saying your first service is in 10,000 miles. Well, actually, no, it's not true. This car needs to be serviced every 3,000 miles for a safety check to keep the warranty, but also at 6,000 miles, which apparently there's another safety check that's chucked into that as well, along with another safety check at 9,000, and then a major service at 12. What the My Toyota app doesn't say is that this car actually needs to be serviced more regularly than a normal Toyota. I have messaged about this. The issue hasn't been changed, so I'm just kind of keeping track of it, by myself. It's just small things like that that can kind of get tedious, and you want to remember when you need to take your car in. Just things like that. Obviously, with being a major service at 12,000 miles, I think is about just under £500, so it's quite expensive for quite a short duration of mileage. Because you have your 2 safety checks that are £50 each, then you have your interim, which is £175, that's your oil, just a general like checkup of your car, and then the major, like I say, just under £500, I think that's gearbox oil, oil again, just checking if you need tyres, it can very quickly become £1,000 service. So it is quite an expensive car to keep running. However, if you look after it and you keep with the warranty and you're willing to pay the extra just to service it, then this car is fucking fantastic to own. It's quick, it's nippy, it's easy to drive from like A to B, it's easy to do all your shopping and stuff. It's got a big enough boot for that, you can put your rear seats down if you want a bit of furniture, which I've done on 2 occasions since. And then you can just go and drag race it. And it's reliable enough to do that with the 5-year warranty. So apart from those couple of little niggles that I have that aren't really to do with the car, they're to do with what I've chosen, the actual My Toyota app, and the servicing, this car is incredible. thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this little video. I'm not making too many car related videos because this whole channel isn't really about cars. However, I just wanted to, you know, make sure that people knew what they were buying, and two, maybe I've brought up a couple of things that you may not know about before buying this car. But yeah, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you soon.